all doing tonight?
The microphone?
I don't think I need it.
Okay.
Is it loud enough to hear? So now we are in Adar, and it's a month that we especially need to be happy. So I am happy and excited to be here and to welcome and thank everyone for being here, and to also let you guys know and remind you about next week is going to be an extra happy and Purim-dik Partners in Torah. So we are going to be starting a bit earlier. We'll be starting around 7:15, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be putting together our own shloch manot and Purim baskets and some good Purim food. And for those of you that also come to help out with the campaign that we'll be having, there'll also be a nice dinner. So it's going to be a lot going on next week. I hope to see you all there and bring people. This next week is open for everyone. It's not just for partners. So if you know anybody that's interested to see what Partners in Torah was about, or thinking about maybe coming to Partners in Torah, please bring them along. Tonight we have a special guest that every once in a while shows up, and we try to grab him to speak because he's full of energy, and it's very appropriate for Adar. So, Rabbi Ari Winkler, please come up.
Thank you very much. I don't remember the last time I spoke here, and it's amazing how Mrs. Grunitsky sees me walk in, and she manages to tell me, not when I walk in that I'm speaking, but almost like it's like a surprise. You're speaking at like 8:59. I think it's like 9:01. So I always have a lot to say. It's a lot weirder when they ask me to say stuff. All of a sudden now, I don't know what I'm going to actually talk about. But we all know that right now we're in the month of Adar, in the Jewish month, not February or March, but Adar. And it's the last of the 12 months. And we know, most of us know, that we have a holiday festival called Purim. Around the same time of Purim, we have certain commandments like reading the Megillah. You have a commandment to have a party, and depends who you ask. If you ask me, you have a commandment to drink to the extent where you don't know the difference between good and bad, and evil, Republican and Democrat. Whatever the biggest contrast you can figure out is, you're supposed to get that drunk that you don't know the difference between the two. So this, on the surface, it actually seems like, how could that be one of our commandments? What are we trying to accomplish by drinking that much to the point that you're losing all sense of self and pride as a person, and almost, so to speak, going to your, hopefully it's the positive animalistic behaviors, but it's the behavior where you're losing what separates humans from any other species on the world, which is their way of acting and their ability to create ideas and to form things. And we're trying to lose that. So there's a lot said on this matter, and the real concept is that we see that in the Megillah, which we read at night and in the morning, hopefully everybody's going to have a chance to hear it at least once, that it says that Anochi Aster Panim, I hide my face. And God in this world, we don't see every second. We should see him every second. When we drive our car, the fact that our car can just drive is an act of God. The fact that we can walk is an act, because God, if he's controlling the whole world and he's the Almighty and everything, we should not be able to walk if he chooses not to. So everything's an act of God. The fact that he gives us the knowledge to allow me to sit here and speak and have Mrs. Grunitsky call me up is an act of God. But on a day-to-day level, God allows us to, so to speak, have the ability to control our actions. One day a year, we're supposed to give to God and say, you know, you are everything, and we're going to hit that level in a way of happiness that we are giving it all to God. And that is Purim. And Purim is the day that we're saying, you know what, even though you're hiding, we're going to hide our human self and we're going to give everything to God. And we're going to act in a certain form that we love everybody. And that's also in the same requirement that even though you're supposed to let your guard down, you're also supposed to give gift baskets to at least 2 friends. You're supposed to give charity to friends. And that's the concept where everybody is in unison serving Hashem. And that is the concept. And right before Purim, we read from the Torah portion about Amalek. Amalek is the first army that after we came out of Egypt to try to annihilate us. And even though they didn't succeed, but they weakened us heavily. They wouldn't have started up with us, nobody would have messed with us. We were like the big bully. And then like the little kid punched us in the face, even though he got squashed. Now you're no longer the big guy that nobody's going to mess with. You have a bloody nose, you're still the bully. So that's what we were coming out of Egypt, and they destroyed it. And because of that, and we were God's chosen nation, and we were not doing really much wrong, there's a curse to obliterate them and wipe them off the face of the earth. And that's where Haman came from in the story of Megillah. So we actually say it before Purim to remind us of why we're also getting drunk. It's not a drunkenness of trying to run away from miseries and sorrows and depression. It's actually a drunkenness of excitement. And just as someone would go on an anniversary, they'd order a nice glass of wine and champagne. That's not the same time you go when you're going out with buddies after a rough day at work to a bar. The act is both drinking. But what the action is what's going on Purim. And the action that we're supposed to do is, it's not that one glass of champagne. We're supposed to take that one glass and turn it into many glasses. The hope is that we all drink to the level that we attain a levelness that we realize that there's nothing around us, not even ourselves, but the Almighty. Just like He wanted it from the Garden of Eden. And that's our goal. And that's our goal one day a year, which is coming up. And it says how from the day of Rosh Chodesh Adar, which was 4 hours ago, all the way till, for a question you asked, to me it's till at least the next 4 or 5 months, you're supposed to always be raising in happiness. And the idea is to just keep on raising in happiness and always be happy. And my blessing to us all is that we go into this Purim with the right belief that it's all about God. So even when some things don't go for us, it's sometimes good. You can blame God. But when it's going well, we also have to give Him the credit. We can't just take the credit ourselves. It's a two-way street. If we're going to blame Him, then we got to give Him the credit too. But at least this way we can always be happy because it's never our fault. And God put us here for a reason. So thank you for having me.
Hi.